Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Game Dealer for Friday.
Oh, yeah!
Every week you're better and better.
I gotta do something different every time.
You're gonna run out of...
Never!
There's so many languages. Thanks, Tower of Babel. While Fortnite vs. Apex Legends has been grabbing a lot of headlines lately, the biggest fight this generation might be between Steam and the Epic Games Store.
Oh, that's right. If you thought the era of console wars had passed us by, it's time to start stacking the sandbags again. The drums of war echo on the horizon.
Oh boy, Epic launched its digital PC storefront in December, and it's already made a big splash in the industry, offering developers a bigger cut of the revenue and, to the annoyance of some people, signing exclusivity deals for high-profile games like Metro Exodus and The Division 2.
Yeah, it turns out when you make billions of dollars from a game like Fortnite, you can throw your weight around a little. Not to mention the millions of new installs that give you a toehold into an entirely new audience.
It also helps when you own one of the main engines for game development. Jesus, this is some Bond-villain level planning, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, Lawrence, there was an interview with Tim Sweeney, right?
Yeah, and this is what's sort of creating all the waves that we've seen this week, kind of fanning the flames a little bit. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney said that his company is making the industry better for gamers, even if they don't see it.
Oh no.
Which is a dangerous thing to say. He didn't mention the Doomsday Laser he's likely building on his moon base quite yet, but we'll hear about that soon enough. Naturally, the sentiment didn't go over well. There's nothing that angry people love more than being told that they have no reason to be mad in the first place.
Calm down. That's my favorite phrase.
You're being unreasonable.
Yeah.
PC gamers argue that Epic Store is functionally inferior to Steam, which it is.
Sure.
Steam's got a lot of features and the Epic Game Store doesn't. While competition is theoretically a good thing, the consumers in this case don't actually have a choice. Exclusivity deals are forcing them to install yet another store launcher.
I think a burp's coming on. There it is.
There it is.
There you go. Sweeney, though, says that the Epic Store is helping to break Steam's stranglehold on the PC marketplace.
How, Lawrence?
Just by competition, really. There are other digital competitors to Steam out there, but none of them have the deep pockets of Epic, so
Like
that...
Battle.net, Activision? No.
Yeah, publishers made their own platforms specifically so they could dodge Steam's revenue share and also have marketing opportunities. You know, Origin has their own programs and stuff like that.
Am I the only person who launches Uplay every day to check on new deals?
I just can't wait to talk to all my U friends on Uplay.
I don't know about you, but I use GOG.
I'm a Bounty man myself.
I want something lightweight that launches a game and that's it. And Steam's it's getting chunky now,
It
but
is.
Yeah.
over the summer it ate a lot of bean burritos and it came back to school just like spilling out of those jeans. So yeah, when it launched, Epic immediately made headlines by offering big time sweeteners to sign developers up, mostly just money, just
Yeah, of
dump
course.
trucks of Fortnite cash. Instead of taking 30% of a game's revenue like Steam does, Epic takes less than half, just 12%.
That's huge.
It's
That is
very
a huge deal.
It's a sea change and we're seeing the effects now.
And Sweeney has said that this has been revolutionary, saying that the store is breaking the 70-30 stranglehold that's pervaded the industry for more than a decade.
I love that. I think that's great.
It's great. I mean, I know people saying choice is great, and I guess at some point, Steam really was your only choice, and that does sort of suck for a developer.
Absolutely, and now it doesn't as much. So while he acknowledged that the new store has been a disruption, he added that it's a necessary step forward for the games industry if we want to enable developers to invest in building better games, and if we want the savings to ultimately be passed on to gamers in the form of better prices.
And he also followed up by saying, rise up.
But not against us.
And while people might be mad about exclusivity deals, as they should, Sweeney says they don't see all the good that comes from giving developers a bigger slice of the pie.
Hey, buddy, hey, calm down. This is for your own good. He added, quote, they don't see the hardship of making a payroll and seeing the store suck 30% of the revenue out from it. It can be jarring to see the industry is changing in ways that are typically invisible to us as gamers.
Rise up, he said.
Where are my gamer glasses? I need to...
So yeah, quick news flash there. Developing a game is really expensive and very hard.
Yeah, Lawrence, give him the other news flash.
Oh boy, yeah, PC gamers are typically not the most empathetic to developers. What do you mean it doesn't support ultra-wide resolution? I spent $2,000 on this monitor! You stay in the office until it's done! Sweeney went on to say that more stores are better for everyone because they create price competition.
He's right.
To a degree.
I think
But you have to have two prices to compete.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part where he's wrong. And in a fairly grandiose statement, he said that it's, quote, more important for game developers who hold strong and sometimes be willing to go through criticism as we do things that are necessary for the industry. That is evil man.
That's the most rise up statement I think I've ever heard.
He also said that the free games they've been offering have been a huge success and are bringing in lots of new gamers to the store who will then rise up.
What a surprise. Despite Sweeney patting himself on the back over and over and over, people do have some legit beefs with the Epic Store. That Metro Exodus exclusivity deal was announced after lots of people had pre-ordered it on Steam, and that's the worst way to open up your Epic Game Store, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, tell us more, Lawrence.
I got burps.
Yep,
You got burps
it's
too,
passing, yeah. That's right.
Ooh, it's a rough day. Okay. That had people wondering if those pre-orders would still be honored and if Metro Exodus would still be supported on Steam when it came to things like updates and future DLC. It is. So it's weird. They tried to do the right thing. They even gave a price cut on Metro Exodus to US consumers. They knocked $10 off of it, which is kind of cool, passing the savings on. Everybody wins, theoretically in that case, but still, the people who put down money for it early did so with the expectation that they'd be able to play it on a service that they like, with all the features they like. It's a weird toss-up of yanking the rug out from under people, and this has gone on to happen a couple more times.
There was also a big backlash after the strategy game Phoenix Point signed an exclusivity deal with Epic, despite the fact that it was crowdfunded and backers were promised Steam keys.
Oh my gosh, no. That's a rough takesy-backsy. Theoretically, the better price split will help the Phoenix Point devs turn a profit faster and thus be able to stay in business and work on even more games. That's great. But then all the people that don't have the Steam keys.
We're still in the early days and have yet to see a concrete payoff from this supposed competition, which is why consumers are very confused.
Yeah, then there was a recent controversy over the Epic Games launcher tracking people's Steam data, like their friends and list of games they played without their knowledge.
Any more info on this, Lawrence?
This is one of those, like, it was buried in a EULA somewhere and everyone agreed to it. So yeah, Epic VP confirmed on Reddit that the launcher does make an encrypted local copy of that info. He added that it's only sent to Epic with the user's explicit permission, but it's still have people wondering, why are you doing it at all? Feels a little like spyware.
Everything has that. Everything has
But
that.
still, why?
Hey, my privacy is important. I only give that away for free email or the ability to see my uncle's astoundingly racist Facebook posts.
And as far as those exclusive game deals, they are not going away.
No, Epic said in a keynote speech at GDC that they've expanded their partnership with Ubisoft to bring more of its PC games to the Epic Store.
They've also got exclusive rights to the PC versions of Quantic Dream games, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Detroit Become Human.
Finally. Don't forget the Outer Worlds from Obsidian and Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey from Panache Digital, also exclusives. Some are just for a limited time, but that's not going to calm down the angry hordes right now.
Oh, and there's that whole Private Division label from Take-Two. Epic has an exclusivity deal with those games as well.
Lawrence, what about Metro Exodus?
Everybody that was rising up on that one said they were just going to pirate it, but the game sold 2.5 times as many copies as its predecessor, Metro Last Light, did on Steam.
Oh my.
The head of Epic's store, Steve Allison, said that the numbers prove that, quote, it's really about the games, not the store you sell it on. Then again, Metro Exodus was a higher profile game with a bigger budget and bigger marketing campaign, arguably should have and would have outsold Last Light no matter where it launched. But that is some data that says that all this anger doesn't really amount to much on the numbers side of it, which is where business decisions are made.
That's what we always say, though, is the vocal minority. Like there's 5% of people yelling and the other 95% are like, all right, I guess I'll buy
Cool,
it.
click, click, there, same game.
There's no doubt that Steam has been feeling the heat from Epic lately. Valve is getting ready to get a facelift like it was a Real Housewife or something.
It's going to have a redesigned library page and advanced filters. Whoa. So you can have more or less hentai depending on your preferences.
So much hentai. That redesign has been long overdue, but it's really interesting that Valve is just rolling it out now.
Yeah, Lawrence and I have been complaining about Steam for years and years and years.
It's getting chunky.
It is garbage.
It's slow.
Garbage software.
It's about a 50% success rate if I try to launch it and it actually launches. Usually it hangs and I have to kill the process and try again.
Oh, and remember when Valve said last year that it would also take less money from developers? Down from 30% to a generous 25%, or
so
even
fine.
20%. Epic does 12. Only for the really popular games, though. That happened shortly before the Epic Game Store actually launched. One more interesting thing to note, Epic officials also addressed the recent controversy over games like Rape Day and whether or not they belong on digital stores.
Epic's publishing strategy director, Sergey Galgankin, said at GDC, quote, "We do not intend to sell porn and hate games on the store."
Well, that's good.
That's like CD Projekt level red of like easy layups.
Right, yeah. Valve made it easy for you to dunk on them. They basically put the mini tramp down and sat there quivering. And just boom, tomahawk jam.
They opened themselves up and they said, fine, put it all in me.
I got plenty of holes. Fill them all up.
And Sweeney also told PC Gamer that the Epic Store will have a, quote, quality standard and doesn't accept crappy games.
Oh, wow.
As an example, he said that a GTA game would be okay, but not porn games. Asset flips are any sort of thing that's meant to shock players.
Yeah, in the end, Sweeney might be right that the Epic Store is growing the overall number of PC users, actually, Lawrence.
Theoretically, this is a good thing for PC enthusiasts, but I know that they tend to be a little walled garden sometimes. At GDC, Epic said that 85 million people now use its store, and according to surveys, 40% of them don't even have Steam installed at all.
And they know that because they're spying on you.
Yeah, makes sense. A lot of people use it to access Fortnite, which kind of makes it Epic's version of Counter-Strike or even Half-Life 2.
Yep.
It's the way you punch in, and then you shove everyone else out of the way, and you're like, hey, Slime Rancher's right over there. Maybe try that out.
Yeah, it's also worth remembering that people were really pissed that they had to install Steam back in 2004, only to be able to play Half-Life 2.
I was really super pissed about it. I remember I was like, oh man, come on. Why are you gonna make me install this garbage Java software? software, and then they did, and then now it's still there. Eventually they came around, and Epic is hoping that people will do the same for them too.
In the end, the conversation seems to drill down to a conversation we've seen circulate a lot lately. Should the audience get a choice about where they play their games, or should they be tolerant of corporate slap fights that theoretically will benefit the whole space in the long run?
So I personally think the competition is a fantastic thing. I know you guys don't think it's actual competition exclusivity, but I think it is because it's all free. So the launchers are free, doesn't matter.
Sure.
That to me, it's just a couple more clicks, which suck, but at the same time, at least the developers are getting more money and they can make better games or more games or whatever.
Sure, I mean, but it's at the end of the day, there's no competition because you can't buy it one place or the other. It's only in one place.
But they're free, right?
Sure, I mean, it doesn't cost me.
Stealing my data.
Yeah, but I'm saying if Target was the only place that sold The Matrix on Blu-ray, it's free for me to walk into their store and go buy it.
But I gotta drive to Target. All I have to do is download the installer, right?
I think the thing is, and this is interesting, and I think it speaks to the passion of the audience, is that the fact that there is a choice just gets completely vaulted over. You can choose to just not buy or play the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that is seen as foregone. I'm going to play it. I just hate that I'm being funneled into a path to do it.
Yeah.
So if you're really that busted up about using the Epic Store, you can choose to not play it. I mean, most PC gamers will choose to just pirate it instead, which is not valid, but hey, you do you. So yeah, there's still a choice there. I was pleased to see.
Cross his arm.
I was pleased to see a longtime friend of the show, even though we've never met him, Derek Smart, popping off on Twitter about this issue. He's frequently very opinionated about issues of PC dev. He actually had a lot of very good points, which is a shame because he has yet to have a good game. Gotcha, Derek.
Is he friend of the show or not?
He's not going to see this.
It's we and Derek, we elbow each other sometimes. I pulled some quotes. He said, quote, "I don't see a revenue cut as making the industry better. It's just like how Trump said his tax cuts would benefit everyone, and tax season came around and gosh, only the rich benefited the most. Buying cheaper from eBay doesn't make it better because you skipped Amazon." So it's an interesting comparison. He also said, "Just wait and see what happens if Amazon ever figures out they have the money and resources to make a massive difference in PC gaming when not throwing it into a fire pit of incompetence and failed experiments."
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And if Walmart ever gets serious about it, beyond the cluster that was GameStop buying Impulse from Stardock, then screwing that up, it will really get worse. So he's got a point.
Yeah.
He also says, "In all this noise, I have yet to read a single compelling argument about why exclusives on PC gaming is bad, anti-consumer, etc. What does it matter where you buy a game? What do you do if Best Buy doesn't have a product or it's higher priced than Amazon? Write a f***ing blog?" I mean, also true.
You had me in the beginning. It was slowly
Now he's
losing.
getting angrier and angrier.
Well, and this is the best part. When you peel away at all these ludicrous entitlement-laden arguments, you're left with the usual drama that PC gaming is notorious for. Doesn't matter where you buy the game. What matters is you get the game you want, it's a good game, and you got it at the best price. Thank you, Derek.
That's it for our show this week. Thank you so much for watching.
You want to talk about Nanosaur?
I don't want to talk about Nanosaur. I see it in the script and I just want to move on.
There was an elegant point there about how Steam and Epic are new operating systems, but
Anyway, you guys are all dumb. Stadia is the future. The developer describes the game as a visual novel where you control the choices of a menacing serial killer, rapist during a zombie apocalypse. Goes on to say, verbally harass, kill, and rape women as you choose to progress the story.
Jeez,
Way to set us back a few years.
And while plenty of games feature sex and violence, it seemed pretty clear that Rape Day is 100% gratuitous.